I still stand by the fact that fans were a little bit worried that they might actually start playing well under Ten Hag
worried, bro.
for a bit.
Are you worried?
Some were. But that didn't come to fruition.
When you said like you were a fan, when would you say like that was? Like last season, the year before?
Nah, I would say like last season he had everyone very excited, right? I feel like
well, not you, because what you said last year was
Here we go.
I feel like you're trapping me.
I was waiting.
We were better than like the team, like Aston Villa, Tottenham teams that were above us. But really and truly,
chill on the Aston Villa thing, please.
No, that's why how many times we played them this season?
Why? When I'm backing you, do you have to say something so ridiculous?
Yo, what is everyone saying? Welcome back to another special episode of Total 90 Pod. The Premier League season is now officially over with just the FA Cup final to go. So it's time to update our top 10 managers of the season video from last season. Our first guest, a year ago, it was the birth of one of the most iconic 30-minute Ten Hag rants, followed by him saying he's on the fence and we'll see maybe next year. So I guess we'll find out today if anything has changed. Mav, how are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I've been anticipating this one for a very long time and I'm ready to get into it. I can't wait.
Likewise. Next up, he spent all year flip-flopping between whether Poch is cooking or whether the oven has been burnt. Well, now it seems as though Maurizio has potentially been sacked. So Ali, how are we feeling in the kitchen today, mate?
They kicked him out of the kitchen, man. I don't know why. I can't understand it. I don't know if I can back it, but let's just see who we bring in, innit?
Maybe. Lastly, it's a man who he may have his hands up quite a lot in this episode because I've just watched last year's video and a lot of the quotes seem to be things that I've got in brackets every time. Stokes said this. Stokes, how are we feeling today?
Yeah, I've had a few flashbacks. I remember a few statements and I'm like, all right. But yeah, I can defend myself, I hope. We'll see.
They will be getting revisited. And hey, listen, you might have got some things right. You never know. We'll have to find out. You guys know the rules by now, but as per, quickly with 30-second explanation, I have asked these four, or myself included, plus another five. It is Jamodo, CJ, Haf, Alfie, and Yaz to give their list of the top 10 Premier League managers of the season. You base it on expectations, league position, coaching ability, all the usual stuff that you'd use. Use it to your own discretion. Do whatever you like. First in your list gives them 10 points. Second is 9. Third is 8. So on and so forth until 10th place on your list gives them 1 singular point. And then add up everyone's list combined together to get our overall group top 10 plus some honorable mentions. Now, obviously, as managers, there's not going to be 25 honorable mentions. There are only 4 honorable mentions. So we'll start in 14th place. Mav has given 1 point to Rob Edwards.
Yeah, I did. And it's quite simply because for me, I don't think many managers could get Luton playing some decent football at times. Again, the resurgence of Ross Barkley, for example, I don't think many managers could get that. And I think most managers, if they had that Luton team, are going down with a record low number of points and not giving any excitement to the fans. And I think the fact that they even had, a chance of not being relegated at points is a remarkable job for me. So to finish in 18th, I believe it was, that they finally ended on points wise, I think is a remarkable job.
Ali, why are you creasing? You're not hearing it?
No, because that was like a nice impassioned speech, and then it's like, it reminds you, you finished 18th, so it's like, what's he doing?
No, but you know what? Like, I'm going to be honest, I kind of hear what Mav is saying. Like, I wanted Luton to stay up because obviously, yes, they did get packed in quite a bit towards the end, but like, I enjoyed watching them, and at the end of the day, if it's not my team, I'm watching to be entertained, and I definitely got that from them. It gave me like Blackpool vibes from when there was like Ian Holloway and that. So I hear it. Stokes, is it a little shout out to him maybe?
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. I was just thinking relegation. I can't do it, but he did a decent job for sure.
Fair enough. In 13th place, someone that Stokes did have. This is a man who was in our top 10 last time, but he dropped out into 13th with only 1 singular point. It is Thomas Frank. Now, this is funny given what happened last year, but Stokes, why do you have Thomas Frank?
Well, I think, honestly, I was searching for my 10th, and I was struggling. I'll be honest, I was struggling. And I just like... I think he's had a rough year. I think the Tony situation, there's a lot of... there was obviously AFCON, but I like him as a manager. I think what this year was not a reflection of his true like managerial ability. So I had to give him a shout out just for what I think he is as a coach alone.
Okay,
So,
that's interesting because you weren't really rating him last year when I had him at the highest, and you weren't really that moved.
yeah, but
There we go.
like he's halfway through. You know? I mean, he's a mid-table manager.
Yeah,
Like, so
just
fair play.
just got into. Okay,
Snuck
mid-table
in.
one. Okay, yeah, note that one down. Note that one down, guys. No,
No, my table, not the actual table, my table.
Fair enough. No, I'm just saying it's an interesting one, but again, yeah, there's not much to write home about Thomas Frank. Like you said, he's had the Ivan Toney stuff. I mean, he's got Wisser and way more cooking, so fair play to him. I like him as well, but this season specifically, I can't act like Brentford have been cooking in it. I guess my view and agreement on the same thing. Innit?
Nah, completely. I think they've had a pretty woeful season. And I rate Thomas Frank, and I believe I may have even had him on my list last year. Every time I watch Brentford, I just kind of wonder what the plan is or what they're doing. And when that's the case,
I wonder who half their players are, to be honest with you. I still don't really know. That midfield, they're just NPCs to me, to be honest with you.
So, again, is that his fault? I don't know the inner workings of Brentford and their recruitment process and so on and so forth. But again, like Amenya said, if you ask anyone who's Brentford's best 11, could anyone actually tell you? Do you know what I mean? Because
I'll give you 11
players are. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Ali, you taking Thomas Frank at the bridge?
That's one of the names that's getting me angry at the minute. Cause like,
really
angry,
yeah, man. Because is that what they really want for us, man? Like Thomas Frank, from what's he even
manager, man?
He's a decent manager for a mid-table side, isn't it?
That's what you might know to the last couple of
Nah,
years.
bro, we're six.
Yeah,
we're back in that top 6. G.
Fair enough. All right, that is Thomas Frank in 13th place. We go up then to 12th. Well, 2 managers are 11th and 12th joint. I am joining the party on this one. I've given 1 point, and Half has given this guy 2 points. It's more of a legacy thing. I'll be honest with you. Coaching ability, I did put De Zerbi in my list. He has left Brighton, and he's going to be getting a move to a team bigger than Brighton because other managers get sacked. He chose to leave and go to a better team. I just think he's great. I think of all the teams that cry about injuries for United, Newcastle, whatever, Brighton, because nobody really supports Brighton on the internet or anything, nobody really speaks about how many injuries they've had, but they've had a stupid amount of injuries to deal with. And, he had a little European run as well. He's got Welbeck firing, so I had to have him in. Obviously, someone here that might be seeing more of De Zerbi is Stokes, potentially, if rumours are to be believed. Are you not a De Zerbi fan yourself?
I was. I just think this season I can't really support it because unlike Brentford, I expect more from Brighton, and I feel like after what they've given us for like 2 seasons in a row, after what Potter gave us, after what De Zerbi came in and gave us, I feel like they've heavily underachieved. And Brighton used to be such a scary place. People just go there and walk over them. Like,
when you said like you were a fan, when would you say like that was? Like last season, the year before?
Nah, I would say like last season he had everyone very excited, right? I feel like
well, not you, because what you said last year was
Here we go.
I feel like you're trapping me there.
I was waiting. I saw the setup. I saw the alley, and I wanted to oop it. I knew it was coming.
Apparently, so excited, but direct quote: I don't really see it. Has he even changed the football at Brighton?
No, okay. So,
I haven't finished. Let me finish. And then, okay, no, you know what? Actually, you say what you want to say, and
I just said that in my speech. Just that, like, with Potter, have we seen much change? Have we seen much improvement? So, listen, he's a young, exciting coach. Like, he got a lot of fresh ideas, but I can't put him in the top 10 managers this season.
Yeah, fair enough. So Stokes, who was so excited, then went on to say, "I'm not moved. When you look at how Ten Hag has changed us." Compared to how De Zerbi changed Brighton's style of play, is there any difference?
Okay, but
I had to let you.
This video will
I
go
knew
out.
it was going to make it worse.
This video will go out before we win the FA Cup, so just keep that in mind, guys. Okay?
That's fair enough. It just I find it interesting because obviously, like De Zerbi, the one thing you can say, whether the results were there or not, he definitely changed how Brighton play. But again,
I liked them before. I liked them with Under Potter. I have to say.
No, likewise, to be honest with you. Ali, would he be someone that you are also angry about his name on the shortlist, or you like that one?
No, I'm not quite angry, but I don't know if it's the right one for Chelsea.
Does that want Zidane or something? Who do you want?
I don't even know right now. I want Pochettino, bro.
It's Jose. You know why he wants Poch? It's because he saw Nicholas Jackson posting all those sad IG stories. That's why Ali wants to keep Poch. Fair enough, man. But anyway, that is Zerbi. Mav, was he close to your list or not this season?
I did consider him, and I was going to kind of do the legacy thing like you. And then I looked at my list and thought, do you know what? I think the people I've put on my list, the teams they're in, deserve the credit. You've got to look at it and go, this is a bit unfortunate, but of course you can't change the injuries and you can't change the fact that he's had a lot of star people missing, and it's led to Brighton not having the season they possibly could have if everybody stayed fit.
Yeah,
so.
and obviously you lost big midfielders in Caicedo and McAllister.
Yeah.
But then, so Mav, so why last year, we used... I'm joking, don't worry.
I was wondering, honestly, I'm ready for anything.
You ain't saying nothing.
I'm ready for anything.
In 11th place, Ali has given this guy 1 point, as have Yaz and Alfie. It is Eddie Howe. Ali, I thought you were a massive Newcastle hater, so I'm
not a Newcastle hater, but he's had injuries. He's had suspensions to big players, you know what I mean? And they still finished, what? 8th,
I don't think suspensions count in my
discussion. What is he meant to do about that? No, that's a big player for them. Fault. And it's like these men really and truly have had a half decent season. They've dropped from where they were last season, but they're still in that top 10, the 8th. It's not bad, man. With the injuries they've had, and
don't you think it's just like an Isaac Curry job though? I don't really know what's Eddie Howe.
Anthony Gordon, man. He's got Anthony Gordon playing out his skin.
Yeah, that's valid, I suppose. But I don't know. Eddie Howe, I'm not overly moved by that geezer. Obviously, this is someone that, thanks to Stokes in particular, was second on our list last season. Stokes, he's no longer in your list at all.
It's almost as if you can be great 1 year and not the next.
No, it's true. I agree with you.
It's almost as if you could take your team to
Champions League football. They get defensive. I agree with you.
You know?
I had him third, so it's not as though.
If it was like, I should, with recency bias, I probably could put him in there. But I feel like if I look at the course of the season, you got to say disappointing. I feel like he was close to getting sacked at one point. So
yeah, I hear that. Mav, any consideration? Or because I saw you shaking your head very vigorously when Ali's name was read out as someone that voted for him.
No, I just that one surprised me from Ali. That's all. That's what I shook my head. Not that I completely disagree with what Ali said for once, but no, I was just surprised it came from him. Because again, like you said, I've heard him diss Newcastle and Newcastle players quite often on this podcast. So to give them props in a very bad season, in my opinion, was just a surprise. I don't think it's good enough, really, personally, to be in the position he's in and Newcastle are in and have the season that they had. But again, it's one of those that I'm not going to completely write him off just yet. I just struggle to see him being the manager that wins them anything. Maybe he proves me wrong because it was a decent season last season, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, a lot has changed since last year because obviously last year, I mean, the mate Stokes was saying that it all ties down to expectations, and it looks as though with how great he's got St. Maximin and Almiron cooking, they're going to be insane for the Newcastle project.
No, that's not a quote, is it? Is that
that's you? But St. Maximin and Almiron, that's you were talking about how insane they're looking for their project. That was you, bro.
I might have to review. I don't feel like I said that. I feel like that can't be me.
You were gassing up Alan St. Maximin and Miguel Almiron. I mean, I can put it in the video, but I can't really rewind to where you said it.
I don't know, because the way I feel is like AI is so strong these days. Like, are we sure?
You reckon, yeah?
Yeah, are we sure?
I'll come to Stokes' defense here. To be fair, Alan St. Maxim swanned off to Saudi to collect the bag. Had he stayed, his point would have stayed valid. And he couldn't really predict that future, that Saudi come in and start buying. So on Alan St. Maxim, I'll defend him. And Almiron's looked good when he's been fit. But it's still questionable.
Yeah, questionable.
Fair enough. No dramas.
I'll take that one.
We'll get into... Well, that's our honorable mentions done. So before our top 10, there are 6 managers who were on the list last year who are no longer on it anymore. So I'm going to quickly read out some of those names. Some of us may have been responsible. Last time out, in 14th place, Thomas Tuchel. That was me, because although he only had the first month or two of the season, I was saying that without his 6 games at the start of the year, Chelsea would have got relegated. So that's why I gave him some, points there. Ali, would you take him back as well, or is that?
Yeah, no, I'll take back Thomas Tuchel. I'll take him back. Unfinished business there.
You said the mess that was taking place was all his fault, and he's the one that started it unraveling. So that's interesting that you said that.
But it's a different structure now, man. The club's changing. Okay. I don't know what I'm looking at anymore.
Fair enough. In 13th place was Nathan Jones of Southampton. That was purely Tyler saying he's just happy that Southampton have gone, and Nathan Jones is the one responsible. So it's in 12th place was Steve Cooper. It was CJ that had Steve Cooper in there. So no dramas. You're all good. In 11th place, someone that you guys, Stokes, Ali, Tyler, and CJ, you were all waxing lyrical about Roy Hodgson. What do you think about that?
He did what he was there for, man. He was brought in for a job and he done it. You know what I mean? Then he had to retire. He's done now.
He steadied the ship and he built a foundation, and we'll get on to what foundation he built later. But
okay, that means the other guy must be ranked down then, because this is all Roy Hodgson's doing. He just finally got
laid the foundation. Everything had to be built up from there, you know.
Fair enough. Speaking of foundations and managers to discuss, this is the one that maybe many of you will have been waiting for, because I am pleased to announce that a man who will not make this year's top 10 that did make it last year was 8th place, Ten Hag. It's kind of poetic that this year he's finished 8th in the league, and last year he was 8th on the top 10 list. Now, I'm wondering where to start. I guess I would say, when I was reading out the fact that they had less goals than Fulham and Brentford, Stokes just looked at us shaking his head saying that he couldn't believe we had Ten Hag that low. A lot of it was Sancho's fault.
Did I say Sancho?
Yes, you blamed Sancho.
I need to watch this video back.
No, I promise you, I wouldn't make it up. I wouldn't make it up. I promise you, I'm reading out what you said. You said, obviously, we're not scoring many, but he's dealt with those issues now. Fun fact for those who are unaware, they're now on -1 goal difference. So, before I get on to maths, Stokes, what do you think about what you said just there so far?
In fairness, what is the goals scored difference between the two seasons? I'm curious. With all your stats you got there, have you got that down? No.
Unfortunately, I don't. 58 goals scored last year. 57 goals scored.
Okay, so it appears that did not get sorted. Listen, I have to apologize. I have to apologize about Ten Hag, because I was fooled. I was fooled by his words and his demeanor, I guess, and like
sure.
I was taken in by it all. I was crying out for a top manager. I thought he was that top manager, and I've obviously seen the light this season, and I can't wait for him to see the door. And if I had the list of all my top 20, he wouldn't even be on the top 20. It'd be some sacked managers in there as well. So,
that's obviously, it's crazy considering obviously, you know, last year you really loved how much or the way in which he handled the Rashford situation and how he's got Rashford back and firing. Obviously, I think you said he's never been late again, so therefore we have to credit Ten Hag for just how he's treated Rashford.
He hasn't been late; he just hasn't been, playing very well.
I mean, no, he's been more than late. Points he hasn't turned up because he went out drinking the night before. So
it's fascinating.
Yeah,
Mav, obviously you were on the fence about it. You said he's tactically inept, he's stubborn, he's obtuse, no plan B. Everyone gets minutes like a Sunday League manager. So you're not sure where you lie.
That is such a wild statement, isn't it? With that list being the list and me saying I was on the fence.
That was the shortened version. You obviously went on for, I would say the full version is about 20 minutes. I cropped it to about 10 in the video. What do you think about Ten Hag now?
Absolutely. And again, I'll not do a 20-minute one here. I'll keep it as short and sweet as I possibly can. But get that bald fraud out of the club. I was on the fence. I'm absolutely on the side of the fence of what a useless manager. And I clocked it from the way he treated Ronaldo. People were lauding him up for that. I thought it was ridiculous. The way he treated Sancho, the fact he fell out with Varane, so many players that have never fallen out with managers before are suddenly having all these busts up with the manager. And when that starts happening, you kind of go, there might be a bit of a problem here. And for me, It's just a lack of anything, really. The lack of coaching, the lack of decision-making, good decision-making. And I feel like he's been backed by United fans for a reason that I genuinely don't understand. I don't know where he's built this loyalty up from. But the sooner he's out, the better. And again, United just admit that sometimes sacking isn't the right thing to do. Poch and Chelsea are an example of that right now. But sometimes you just have to say he's not the right manager and keep going until you find the right manager. And sometimes that is what has to be done. And people have to be fired. And it's okay to say he's not the right manager because he's not United pants now. And it's genuinely his fault.
So are we going to get like a my bad from you towards Mav, perhaps? Because obviously you did make him sound like a bit...
I think the one thing I will say is, obviously the Mav one there was like, he gives everyone minutes. I think he's gone far away from that this season. I feel like he has his firm favourites. And he has people that should be getting minutes that don't. So I feel like he might have stopped doing that, but probably for the wrong reasons. And he's got his favourites that aren't actually very good. So unfortunately,
yeah, wait until like match day 37 for Diallo's crazy. There will be something that Mav will need to clarify. I'm going to ask Ali about it. Because obviously there can be things that get misconstrued. So I want to understand once and for all if he's going to agree that he insinuated it or not. Ali, do you remember a video, me, you, Mav and Drew, where United had just lost 7-0 to Liverpool, and Mav was saying it's good that you guys think it's funny because it means that United are back. You guys are scared because like you wouldn't be this much laughing about it if you didn't think that, you know, Ten Hag and United were cooking. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. We said that's a very like thin silver lining on it, like.
Yeah. Mav, do you remember? Because you seem to try and change the way in which it was said. So clarify what you meant by that. Or are you going to be honest and say...
I say I've addressed this on stream quite a few times. And that was obviously when they were playing well. And it was at a point where United looked like they were turning the corner. Okay. And again, my whole point in that video is that freak results like that happen, and obviously you guys kept pointing out that Ten Hag had a lot of those freak results, but if you go across football history, there are loads of times where clubs lose by big goals and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But no, 100%, it's got worse from that point. I still stand by the fact that fans were a little bit worried that they might actually start playing well under Ten Hag for a bit.
Are you worried?
Some were. But that didn't come to fruition, and my rant did for once, so I'll take it.
Yeah, so fair play. So just before we leave Ten Hag, can we get a my bad maybe?
I got a public one on Twitter, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I did.
My sincere apologies. You know, I was taken in. I was taken in.
Fair play. Yeah. The last name that was not here anymore was 6th place Marco Silva.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and this was. As you can tell by Stokes' face, I was greatly responsible for the Marco Silva one. I was pushing the proper lot. Stokes was saying it was all Mitrovic. I still don't really agree because I've even seen this Muniz guy bagging quite a bit for them as well. But yeah, it's not been as great this season for Fulham. But at the same time, they were never in danger of relegation. They're just going to be that kind of team where a bit like, let's say, Palace have been where, you're like 13th, 14th.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares. I don't think it's my bad scenario, really. I still think he's just very good. But Stokes is not in his head. Stokes, what do you think about that?
I mean, listen, I was hearing stories. What about Marco Silva? Why is Gary O'Neill ahead of Marco Silva? You know, and I was just thinking, very interesting. But you know, I'll take my L's today. But I think that's one of my W's. You know, I feel like it was one of those situations where it was just purely they had a very good striker at their club that probably shouldn't really be that level. Respectfully to the Fulham fans, I'm sure, if they're any watching. And then walk back to reality.
Yeah, I was about to say probably Ziggy. That's about it.
Back to reality a little bit this season, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. I think he's decent, but alas, he's not on my list because again, Fulham haven't been exactly astonishing, and I'm a bit salty that they kind of, you know, cost us the title in a way a little bit as well. I'll be honest with that one. So that's why they're not on my one. But again, not going to spend too long on Marco Silva. Fair play, Stokes. You may have been cooking somewhat there. I'm a fair man. We get into our top 10. Bit confused here. If anything, this is ultimate sign of recency bias. And look at one person smiling already because he knows who it is. In 10th place, don't even know how he's got it because Ali gave him a lot of points. Maurizio Pochettino. Now, Mav has him. Ali obviously has him very high, as does Yaz. So Chelsea, Mav. But actually, before I get to Ali, Mav, why do you have Pochettino? Is it because of the last month or two?
No, I think Chelsea play really well. It's just sometimes they struggle to finish it off, and that's partly because they have a terrible striker in Nicholas Jackson, which obviously I've spoken about multiple times. You also put it down to guys like Enzo Fernandez.
Of course.
And again, it's remarkable that their best form of the season is when Enzo Fernandez got injured, which
it's just a coincidence, bro.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence. And as when they've started to click, he's now been sacked.
Yeah.
So honorable mention to him. I put him 10th, as people will see my list, because I think
no, eighth.
Eighth, sorry, yeah, eighth. So
it was crazy.
I think I like the football Chelsea played. I did like the football Chelsea played. But I liked watching them. Yeah.
Ali, so manager of the season, up until about 8 weeks ago, you wanted that guy gone completely.
There was about a 3-week period this season where I wanted him gone in it, and that's because things were bad. There were literally 3 weeks. Up until then, I was saying Poch is cooking. I was saying Poch has got something, and he was in it. There was just a bit of frustration towards the end of the year where it was like, what's happening here? His team selections were a bit iffy. But when you look at it throughout the season, the injuries we've had, the sometimes bad finishing and lack of clinicalness in the final third, which he can't do anything about. We've been playing good football. Like Mav said, I've been saying all season that we're playing better than like United. I think we were better than like the team, like Aston Villa, Tottenham, teams that were above us. But really and truly,
chill on the Aston Villa thing, please.
No, that's why how many times we played them this season?
Why? When I'm backing you, do you have to say something so ridiculous? But yeah, keep going. I'm backing you, and you make me look a mug.
End of the season, if we played them, we would have beat them. Because at our best, we're better than them. We're playing better than them. And that's why Poch should have had a bit more time. But don't underrate the season that he had, didn't it? Because 6th place with this Chelsea team, how young it is, how much injuries we had. It's not a bad season.
Okay, you man, can I change my list now? Because I'm backing this. And I don't agree with half of what you said now.
We finished 6th, so already just technically, there's only 5 managers that even have a right to say that they had a better season than him. The rest of them can't even
I'll be honest, Mab, even if you took him out, because of Ali giving him 7 points, he was going to get top 10 no matter what.
Hold on. 7, what's that, 3rd?
4th.
You
put Poch 4th.
Yeah.
Presumably you have Ten Hag up in 5th or 6th. No, because
that guy was nowhere. He was 20th.
No, but like you look at the table. There's only 7 managers that can.
We're not just looking at the table though. We're looking at the table, the final table. We're looking at the final table, and we're looking at the way we were playing. Watch the games. Watch the 90 minutes, and you'll see he's been cooking all this time.
So
I redact it.
If you could. Let's say Ten Hag leaves. Will you take Poch?
No.
You man wish you had Poch next season, man.
Not seen enough.
I'll be honest. I can't even talk too much. I didn't win the league either, but just seeing these men just fighting there, talking about Poch and Ten Hag is quite fun. I'll be real, but alas, let me not talk too much because it could get a bit long.
Yeah, but don't put them in the same bracket though, innit? Because they're not. The two of them
you
are
men
together,
are chilling in like 6, 7, 8 like the whole season.
One's employed, the other one's looking.
But the other one's teetering.
Yeah, he's teetering a little bit, to be fair. A little bit.
Fair enough. That is Poch in 10th. I don't really understand how he's got into our top 10, to be honest with you, but
I do. 4th.
In 9th place with 21 points. Everyone has this guy except Mav and Jamodo. Everyone has him relatively low, except Haf, who has him quite high. His name is Sean Dyche. Strange one to compute because obviously when they say league table doesn't lie, I guess for Everton it does lie because the points just change like every week. Like I don't even know what they got deducted overall anymore. It could be 10, 6, 4. I don't really know what it is, but it seems as though when rating Sean Dyche, you have to rate him on the period right after they get banned because that's when they start cooking again. And then when they're safe, they're like, all right, we're going to go lose 8 in a row now. The Premier League says, oh, we're going to ban you again. So then Sean Dyche is like, oh, we're in trouble. Cool, let's play again. So it's really confusing, but I think given the fact that they have had so many off-field difficulties and their squad is not exactly stacked with superstars, I said, yeah, you can hold a little 9th place. Stokes, you got him 9th as well, so I think the exact same, I imagine.
Yeah, and I think the fact that how well he coaches teams to be defensively sound, and obviously what he, I think the kind of the game that sums up Everton, I feel, was that last Arsenal game where I feel just came out there and it just really quite quite compact and really hard to beat. Should have been like in theory Arsenal home game. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't easy at all. They struggled, so fair play to him.
This is England, no tiki taka. That video elite. And you got him 9th as well. Likewise, same thing. Nothing much to disagree.
Yeah, even though Pochettino demolished him at the bridge, you know what I mean? It's still fair enough to Sean Dyche. I actually think this was one of their better seasons in terms of surviving with a bit of distance, innit? Like, and they've had that point deduction, whereas usually they've been kind of like battling that relegation for a couple of seasons now. So fair play to him, man.
Yeah. Mav, close to yours or not really?
Well, he made my first list, and then my revised list, I had him out.
No dramas. Yeah, last time he was 15th. Alfie was the only one that had him actually altogether. So Sean Dyche is moving on up. He's in the top 10. In 8th place, again, or for the first time rather, all of us 4 have this guy in. The whole 9 do except one person, Jomodo again. So you have to start wondering. I've had a howler. I didn't even finish writing Jamodo's list. Hold on. Wait, give me like 60 seconds. Okay, so actually, Sean Dyche is in 8th place. And in 9th place would have been Stokes' favourite guy. It's Gary O'Neill.
Do you want to just switch his list, like the 2 players on his list, the 2 managers on his list, and just move on?
Could do. The issue is he gave 2 points to David Moyes. So yeah, well done, Jamodo. I guess no one else had David Moyes, so never gonna waste time on that. I don't know how I bugged out and just forgot to read his thing, but yeah, well done. David Moyes is in there, so he would have been 13th or whatever. Stokes, I'll let you kick off this one because obviously you're gonna be a bit smug and tell us what you were saying.
No, there's no smugness here. Like.
Say that without looking smug.
That's the difficult part. Yeah, I think he's a good coach. I thought he was a good coach last year, and I thought he does well with limited resources. I feel, and I think
you had him top 4 last time around, which was
I was very impressed. And although they've gone through tough patches for sure, and I feel like they've had injury. I don't know. Everyone's had injury problems. It's probably not an excuse to keep pulling up, but. Yeah, I feel like he gets his teeth playing, and I feel at times they're playing some good stuff. At times, not really, but I think I quite like him as a manager.
Yeah, fair enough. Ali, your thoughts on the mate Gary O'Neill? Is he on your shortlist?
It might sound weird, innit? But I'll take him over some of the other names, like Thomas Frank, innit? Gary O'Neill is actually a very good coach. Like, he gets him playing some very good football.
He's very eloquent, that's for sure.
He had Bournemouth playing some good football as well last season. I'm surprised he got let go there. And yeah, man, he's a good coach. I think he's really struggling at Wolves. Are like, they don't have no funds in it, so it's like you just got to do with what you get, kind of thing. And he's got them playing to some sort of tune in it, even though they're not kind of trying to burst out that top 10 or anything. But yeah, decent manager.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't really argue that. Obviously, Mav, you gave him 2 points, so I think it's just the same. Like, we just rate what he's doing, really. Bit of a fall towards the end of the season.
Yeah, one thing I would like to mention, though, is, and I know I've seen Wolves fans talk about it, but some of the decisions that have gone against them this season with VAR that would literally have given them 3 points, and it's been 3 or 4 games. It's not like one game here. It's been 3 or 4 games this season that VAR has cost them points or that would have pushed them up. There's the fear that, is he one of those managers that a Potter style, that he maybe gets a chance at a slightly bigger team, and with the resources, he doesn't know what to do with it, and he just becomes a guy that's a mid-table, lower-table manager.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't argue with any of those ones. In 7th place, so 44 points, every single person has him. It is Iraola.
Yeah.
Again, I think there's not much to really argue with. You're seeing how well Bournemouth are doing. Arguably one of the most surprising teams of the season. There are obviously a couple others that we will mention as well, but what Bournemouth are doing consistently, I've seen Ali talk about Solanke at times, and this whole last 2-3 years, I'm just thinking, this brother can't, like, Solanke is not a serious guy. But what I saw Solanke do against United, made me think, you know what, I know it's United, but Solanke might be him. And I'll say a lot of that is down to Iraola. Mav, you rating him?
I am, but what I would like to preference is this could be another Silva situation where, let's say Solanke was to leave. Does Bournemouth drop again and Iraola or Bournemouth go back to not being that great of a team? Potentially. I don't know. Maybe time will tell again with this one. Maybe it's one that we don't talk about next season. But also maybe it's one that we go on to talk about forever. So I'm kind of on the fence with it. I put him kind of lowish, but I don't know. I don't want to go too heavy on him just yet.
Yeah, we're all relatively similar, to be fair. I gave him 6, Ali gave him 6, Stokes 5, and you gave him 4. So, again, no real discrepancies in Iraola's one. We now go on to our top 6. I think I've fixed everything now, so the top 6 should be exactly as how I say it. Everyone had this man in. It is a man who only just arrived in England. Crystal Palace. It is Glasner. Stokes, you gave him the most points. So
football.
Chat to us. You are very much moved, yeah?
I can't say enough good things because obviously, like, despite me having Roy Hodgson in my list last season, they were very, very, very uninspiring. You know, they were struggling big time and they weren't scoring goals. They would have a solid defense throughout, but they just were boring. Like, you could rely on them to not really have an interesting game. And obviously, what he's done with Mateta is like, I think everyone knew Olise and Eze are good footballers. I think everyone knew they when they're fit, but he's just made it all tick. And it's not even just the fact that they're getting points; they're battering teams. They battered us. I know Villa, whatever you want to say about it, but it's not just that. They've had loads of games where they just was just seriously impressive. I think on a recent table, they're like right up in the top 4 or something stupid like that. It might just be a honeymoon thing. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the Mateta one might be a bit of a honeymoon, or I don't know. He's got his shirt tucked like he's a Nelco or R9 or whatever. He's going crazy. So I guess it will be very interesting to see, 1, if they can keep the players, and 2, if they'll keep on cooking like that next year. Ali, obviously, you would say that Poch has been doing a better job than Glasner in the last couple months since you started saying that he's good again.
In the last couple months, yes, but over the course of the season, don't underestimate.
But you weren't rating Poch at the start of this.
At the start of the season, I was rating Poch. Yeah, he hasn't been. That's the reason why we're talking about what he's done in the Prem minute. My man's got 3 months versus however long Poch has had the whole season.
So would you say that Poch getting 6th place after obviously 1 billion is more impressive to you than what Glasner's doing with even just Mateta alone? Would you say that's more impressive? He's got guys like Adam Wharton being able to get on the plane already.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
They've got 4 or 5 players on the plane, by the way.
Yeah, Eze's there as well. Who else is it?
You got Guehi, you got Henderson.
Yeah, because they got a lot of English players. And they're good players in that.
One of the hardest things to break into, by the way. Just FYI.
Well, let's be serious, man. But if you don't like him that much, you prefer Poch, that's fine.
Hey, don't say I don't like him, innit? Because I do like him. It's just, you know what I mean? You've got to pay respect to what Poch has done.
Him as much as Poch.
Correct,
no, fair. Listen, this could be one where I'm not going to go here and gas up Glasner like crazy because we might even not know who he is by next year. I didn't know who he was.
He might literally be on no one's list. So
I'm not gonna like argue too much for him. He's there, comfy in 6th. We can now get into our top 5, the correct top 5 this time, points wise. Whether or not I agree, I don't know. Because actually, in 5th place is a man who none of us have in our top 5. So, but there is a certain someone on
Jamodo Tax.
This is Jamodo Tax. He has given this guy 9 points. So he's got... And actually, had he given him even just the 7, he would have not been like as high as he would have been down 2 spots. It is Ange Postecoglou.
Of course.
With 46 points. So,
Australian Tax.
Yeah. Great. Like... I wonder sometimes, I wanted to get like a nice unbiased panel. If you guys notice, I very rarely ever get another Arsenal fan to do these lists, top 10s, whatever. It's literally only Drew when he's on the panel. So let me try and branch out a bit. I'm going to get some views from abroad and maybe some more Spurs and whatnot. This guy goes and disrespects the entire list by putting Ange Postecoglou in 2nd place. Someone who Ali's team has smoked. My team has packed in. Wait, man, Villa, did you even...
I think we beat them one and got absolutely packed in the most recent, and that's clouded my judgment because that was so depressing to watch.
Yeah, I know Stokes can't nod his head for anything because Ten Hag in any top 10 games.
We actually got robbed, in fairness, in that first one. That was a handball that was really,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
So what do you, man? Okay, let me be fair. No bias. Let's be sensible. Obviously, he had to deal with losing Kane, which is obviously a massive loss. But at the same time, expectations during the season, they changed. Now, I was hearing talk of Invincibles because they had 10 games, undefeated, or speaking about the title race and whatever. And then they quickly faded out the title race, top 2, 3, 4, quite some time ago, to the point where they've had multiple spells of losing, I think, like 4 or 5 games straight, back to back, because Ange refuses to stop being stubborn, to stop being naive, to even worry about set pieces. That for me is a concern. That's why I got him down in 7th. Stokes, you got him even lower. You got him in 8th. So
yeah, I can't be quite honest. Like, if you probably asked me this before the City match, I might have put him like 2 or 3 spaces up. But he just angered me so much, like pretending that they need to beat City or something, or get points against City. Like, just get a grip, mate. Honestly,
you don't like that winning mentality.
No, I hate it, and I hate the way he reacted. It pissed me off because I think all the Spurs fans, well, for the majority, will agree that like, that's not a game. That's not a game to be winning, and he needs to understand that. And I think,
but isn't his job just he's employed to win games, isn't it? He's not employed.
Nah, but then I like coaches who understand the club. I don't think he understands that. And you might say loser mentality, but.
No, I mean, but it is though, isn't it? Like, let's be. I think frank.
All of us. I think all of us would be in the same boat, honestly. As the fans, I don't think it's
doing the Poznan after City score.
Maybe not that far, but like, he's been a little bit unlucky. But I'm very curious to see how he goes next season because it seems like people have adapted to him a little bit and adapted to the Spurs a little bit, and I wonder what they've got for us despite their injury. So we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. Mav, your thoughts on the mate Ange?
I think his season's been clouded a little bit by the fact that they should have had top 4 comfortably, and obviously I benefited from that. They've bottled that, and as much as people don't like talking about injuries, it's the same thing that happened to Arsenal in terms of Saliba being missed at an important point. I think we do have to remember that Maddison got injured at a very important time for them while he was arguably one of the best players in the league. Yeah. And then also Mickey van der Ven goes missing at the same time, and they have to start playing Emerson Royale at centre back and all over the place. That at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you're having to resort to Emerson Royale at centre back, you're in trouble because that guy can't even play his actual position. But again, I'm not gonna say like Jamoda did and say put him higher for. Again, Stokes' reason I fully agree with, and because at the end of the day, he didn't adapt to the injuries. Once they start adding squad depth and stuff like that, the lights are really on him, and they'll be shining on him. So let's see if that winner's mentality sticks next season once they are able to recruit some more people.
Ali, did you like his winning mentality when they played that high line with like 8 men against Chelsea that time? Did you like that?
Yeah, that was my favourite time of it. That's when I was rating him. But honestly, after the season started going on, I started thinking, right, like, it's a bit too much in it. I feel like he's so close to being a very good manager. He just needs to learn that you can't play like that 38 games a season, innit? It's the Premier League. You got to have some respect for certain teams, innit? I think eventually he'll have a clock or he'll get sacked, innit? It can only go on for so long.
Fair enough. Hear that? That is Ange in 5th place, just like he was in the league, I suppose. Fair enough. Top 4. Here we go. Not everyone has this guy. The 2 that left him out are Ali and Yaz. It is I want to say 60-something odd year old man who just got Instagram with the username Kloppo at his big age. Jurgen Klopp is 4th place with 51 points. I guess I got stuck with Ali. Why is the mate Kloppo not in your list?
I was going to say I've had a tumultuous couple of hours, 24 hours with the Pochettino news. Okay. So I kind of forgot about him, innit? By the way. But Kloppo alone is enough reason to not put him in my list, isn't it? And I think if I did remember him, he would have been towards the bottom anyway. So yeah, man, nothing
Would he have been above Poch or below?
No, just below, man. They got a bit of...
He has
Poch had a team. Poch had a team that was ripped apart, man. They ripped apart the core of our squad last season. Klopp, you know what I mean? He sold Mane was at this or last
1 billion
season.
squad ripped apart a little bit.
You keep saying 1 billion squad, but let's be realistic. How many players did we sell? What's the players that have been...
No, one bit... I mean, who did you sell that is...
Havertz, Mount, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, all of these players
you were happy
core
to
players.
get all of them. You were buzzing to
get the money that we got for them. But when you look at it on the pitch,
so you were gassed. So what were you missing?
When you look at it on the pitch, you can't do it all at once. You can't do it all at once, man.
Fascinating.
Klopp has had how long at Liverpool? This was meant to be his big farewell, and I don't know if he's 100% to blame, but yeah, it hasn't gone well at all.
Funnily enough, last year, Klopp was 10th on our list. Mav, you were the only one that had him. You gave him some legacy points because obviously it was a bit of a stinker season. Obviously, you got him back up again now. So
of course, he's up there in top managers to touch this league, and to put Poch fourth and him not on the list is one of the most disrespectful things I've seen on this podcast, respectfully. And at the end of the day, regardless of the fact that Liverpool didn't win the league on their goodbyes, they're literally facing two of the best teams the Prem has seen. And also he's dealing with Darwin Núñez up top. I've watched them in so many games, they're through on goal, and that shin dribbler has knocked his sixth shot of the game wide for no known reason. I do think his players let him down, and people aren't talking about it, but I think his players let him down. And again, injuries, shock horror injuries. I mean, they lost the best keeper in the world. Whether people like it or not, that's going to affect you. To not have him in the top 4 this year, I don't see what manager's been better than or what 3, 4, 5 managers have been better than him. I just don't understand how he's not in there, but that's just me.
Stokes is giving him a nice, farewell, goodbye, have some points, damn, ones here. Stokes, some last bit of credit now that he's finally going to stop harassing.
Second place for me. And I think, again, I want to echo what Mav said. One of the worst things I think I've ever seen, ever. Pochettino in 4th and Klopp not appearing, and then saying, "Oh, I forgot him," but he'd have been down the list anyway.
Still been below is crazy.
Speechless. True. I don't even know how to address that. So I'm trying to move on.
Would you say Klopp has any responsibility though? Because Loki, listen, they did collapse. Like, obviously, people will talk about Arsenal as they will because it gets you more clicks and that. But these men really had it in their hands with 7 games to go, and they're not even in the race with about 3 games to go. It's quite bad.
I'm just of the opinion that they had no right to be there. I don't think they should be there. I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how he was in the race. I feel like with that team, like
I didn't hear from that last year, but fair enough. That's cool. Coming from
last season, and then I don't know. I just feel like he was doing miracles over there. And,
no dramas.
I'm very impressed, and I'm glad he's gone. To be honest, I feel like they're about to fall off a little bit.
Let's hope so. Arne Slot will be coming through soon. Klopp, farewell. Congrats. You were a good dude, to be fair. So, well done to you. 1 title in total. We get into 3rd place. Why is Mav laughing?
Yeah, I was so backhanded, but yeah.
No, just saying what happened. Like,
that was
I'm
so
listening to the Premier League.
Unbelievable.
Cold. Everyone has this guy in. All of us have him in the exact same spot. So I think it's pretty fair. Nothing to argue about. In 3rd place is Unai Emery. Champions League for Aston Villa. I'll be honest, I wasn't hearing it. I said last year when he was making... So last year he finished 5th. And I was saying, all right, you man, have your fun now. But Aston Villa fans, don't worry. Next year, we'll see what happens. Well, unfortunately, we saw what happened. And not even unfortunate, because it's at the expense of Spurs and United. So it's not unfortunate. But it's a shame for my own take that, fair play. Unai Emery, you done your thing still. Embarrassing against Olympiacos, I must add. That's a disgrace. You could have got an easy European trophy, but well done on getting top 4. I don't think anyone was expecting that. I don't think Mav was expecting that. So Mav, you happy with Emery?
Yes. What I would say is the reason I've only got him 3rd and not pushed him maybe even higher than that is watching a few of the games. I still think, and I've said it on stream and stuff, a few times he does do some very questionable things with tactics in big games. For example, going a 5-back against Tottenham that we've not played all season in the biggest game in the race for top 4. And I will be completely honest, the fact that teams around us have played so badly this year allowed us to have the collapse at the end of the season that we've had and still get top 4. And again, it's down to mismanagement of players, in my honest opinion. I with Europe being added in as well, it could be a technical season next year. So I've put him down in the fact that we may be saying something very different this time next year about him.
I mean, like I said, all of us have been third, so I assume Stokes and Ali, there's not much that you want to add, or did you have something in particular for Emery? Or not really, I imagine. We should be calm on that one, yeah. Do I want to go bold and say they won't touch top 4 next season? No,
I'd back it.
Only because I'm scared of like the other things being so bad. But I don't want to make my predictions now. I want to see who spends what money and what happens.
They should be spending money.
We'll see. We have
to. You know, with the Champions League, we have to bolster that squad and add much more top tier rotation at the minimum. We have to. But.
Yeah. Well, the top 2 is pretty straightforward. Let's be honest. In second place is a man who was third last time around. He's up to second. He's up by 1. Hopefully, we'll be up by 1 next year as well. It is Mikel Arteta, a man who last year Stokes put him 5th and started waffling for 5 minutes. If you guys remember, he said the players are deteriorating. It was a good start to the season, but this fall off is their real level now. Next season, we see the true Arsenal. Stokes, what do you think about the true Arsenal?
I mean, listen, I think I like Arteta. You know, he's a good manager, but 0 trophies, unfortunately. I think that's what we heard a minute ago, right? 1 trophy.
Community Shield?
No, like Premier League, Premier League. But yeah, I mean, I have him in 5th. I think he's been great. I think he's been a really solid man. I think I like what they did with the dog at the training ground. That was cool. Obviously, he's got very passionate. Like he's very says lots of big words, like lots of passion, like let's fucking go, that kind of thing. Like he's a good manager. That is. He's a good guy, and I think 5th is you should be very proud of that.
That is a vocabulary to be jealous of. I can't lie.
And I mean, listen. Unfortunately, once he starts kind of getting the team rolling in those big important games, like the Fulhams of to those title-winning games, I'll respect him a lot more. But at the moment, he's still kind of bouncing around that 4th and 5th area.
Yeah, you've confused me now because even though you're trolling somewhat, at least you could troll with the facts. If we're talking actual big games, if you do look at our record against,
no, you know what, you're right. Yeah. In that, to be fair, in that must-win game against City, when he went there and parted everyone at the back, that was actually impressive. Fantastic, to get that point when he needed 3 was remarkable from Arteta. So again, 5th is
why didn't City need those points as well? City picked up 1 point from us.
You saw why they didn't. The title over.
Yeah, we lost that to Villa and Fulham. Unfortunately, these things happen. But you can't say in the big games we need to sort it out when none of the big 5 or Spurs managed to beat us this season. City failed to beat us with 3 attempts even. So
I think you guys slivered away from a loss at the Emirates, to be honest, but very close.
You were slivered at all, to be honest with you.
Garnacho's toenail, unfortunately.
Oh, here we go. You don't move like Ten Hag over 7 years. Ali, you, like a sensible individual, have Arteta in second place with 9 points. You said last year, it took you a while because as much as you hate him, you have to respect what he's doing. Do you think, being completely truthful, no trolling, do you think Arteta wins a league in the next couple of years?
No, I was literally about to say he should pack his bags because I think he's missed his chance now, man. So I can't go 2 times in a row. You're getting second.
You man do this.
But just call it a day, bro.
Nah. I know you want to call it a day because you're scared, bro. Because every year I always say Arsenal, it was your last chance to get top 4. It's your last chance to get top 4. It's your last chance to get top 2, top 1, whatever. You got but every year, the reason why I have him in second, obviously, Pep is, spoiler alert, Pep is first place. What a shock that is. For us personally, we're better every year than we were the previous year. That's all I can really compare. If I compare the job that he's doing himself, more points than every other season we've ever had in history, bar Invincibles, more wins ever in any season, more goals, clean sheets, all of that. So I can't be mad at what Arteta's done this year. Obviously, last year I was not salty, but I was upset. Obviously, we lost the league when we probably should have won it, and there was a bit of a fall off. I came away from the Emirates on the weekend generally not mad at all. And it's hard to explain because you just finished second. It's a bit frustrating, but I can see what's going on, and I feel like it's only gonna go upwards. I feel like with every year the points have gone up and it will continue. I don't really get the logic behind this is your last chance. Like, because of what?
Wrong timing.
The majority of
players
are.
Sometimes it's just wrong.
The majority of players are like 22, 23.
I think you guys have been very lucky with injuries this season as well. A lot of teams have been suffering.
Just lost our new signing for the entire season. Oh,
one player.
Right. You had a 120 million one instead in midfield, you know, so it's all good.
Then we had another player who was arguably one of the best DMs in the entire league out for, again, about 30 games of the season.
I mean, listen, if we're going to bring him involved, you know, I feel like he should be somewhere else entirely. But, I mean,
we're just asking, I'm just giving you names, to be honest with you. We've rotated forward line heavily. We've had no actual left back for the entire season because we keep on switching from Tomiyasu to Kiwi. No, there's been injuries. Obviously, rival fans, you're entitled to laugh and do whatever. I'm not going to be mad. That's what's meant to happen. But I am comfy in my team knowing that we will be cooking. Stokes not doing his head sarcastically. He said all he has to say.
No. Like, listen, I think it's a big summer for you guys. I think big transfer window. We'll see what you guys do because there are players that would make you win the league. I feel, but I don't know. Like, to this day, I think Arsenal fans will disagree, but I think that Havertz signing was stupid. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I genuinely would and was considering putting or would have put Arteta first had it not been for the signing of Havertz, because I think at the end of the day, you saw you guys last year and knew you guys were glaring and missing a goal scorer, and Arteta went out and bought Havertz and tried to do the whole, oh, don't worry, I see the vision. And again, I think Arsenal fans, of course, he scored some goals and he got a bit better towards the end of the season, but we're still, all banter aside, I think we're ignoring the fact that he's not really been a very good signing. He's not really improved you guys at all. And we're going to lie and act like he has had a good season, which I don't think he has. But I still think Arsenal, I'm not like these guys. I think Arsenal are probably going to win a title in our time, because I think the addition of Rice and the way they've played this year, the defense was absolutely watertight. The attack was scintillating to watch at most times. So add a striker that can finish, and I think you win the league comfortably this year. I think with Pep looking to leave maybe next season, with Arsenal being young, I think it's the opposite. I think Arsenal are very much sitting there going, we'll wait for our turn, maybe. And I don't know. I think it could be very soon.
I want to win one whilst he's here.
I think it could be very soon. I truly do.
Said, obviously, in first place is obviously Pep Guardiola. The four of us are giving him 10 points. I am not someone that ever bangs on about 115, 115, 115, but should we, as a community, start a protest here and not discuss Guardiola? We just say, you know what, in sort of honor of the Premier League, let's say, yep, right, Pep Guardiola, your first place, and we end the video.
Nope, because football's still played on the pitch, and it's a cop-out thing, I think, for Arsenal fans and copium. At the end of the day, 115 charges or not, football's still played on the pitch, and there's a lot of teams who have spent as much money, if not more, and they are absolutely woeful. So to turn around and say that 115 charges is why they've battered everybody for 4 years in a row is an absolute cop-out. He battered everyone with football. I
just said that because I have jury duty in the morning. I can't.
No, I know. I just again, I don't know. I just feel like, again, even with the Chargers, they haven't really gone out and bought a superstar other than Haaland, you know, and he's made the players.
Too long of a convo in it,
I don't know.
Again, I'm not one that ever brings up 1-5 in it. So I well done. The league title, whoever wins it, you deserve it. So GG's. I think we all know what Pep is number one. We say it every year, so there's no real need to delve into it too much. We'll see what happens.
I think Guardiola was turning into a very good signing, so I feel like there's a great.
Turned into Maldini towards the end of the season. I don't know what that was about.
Let's not say Maldini, but fair play, Guardiola, doing your thing. Let me read out the top 10 quickly, and you guys will see everyone's top 10 on your screen. You can look at Jamodo's very fascinating one there. In 10th place, because it changed a little bit, didn't it? That should still be the same. In 10th place, we had Mauricio Pochettino. Don't know why. In 9th, we have Gary O'Neill. 8th, Sean Dyche. 7th, Iraola. 6th, Glasner. 5th, Ange. 4th, Kloppo. 3rd, Unai Emery. 2nd, Arteta. And in 1st, Pep Guardiola. There you go. Hopefully, man, enjoyed it. I don't know what will be next week, because, again, I got to sort out jury duty stuff, but I'll probably have a Premier League or maybe even worldwide draft, and we'll get into all those prediction vids from the start of the season and transfer to the list and the usual stuff from the start of the year. Leave a like, subscribe for these, man, blah, blah, blah. In a bit, enjoy your day. Bosh.